heard about the potential dangers of concussions for football players for years now.
Now researchers in North Carolina say measurable changes were found in the brains of young football players after just one season on the field. They could see changes even among students who had not suffered concussions. So just kind of the run-of-the-mill young people playing football impact that happens. 3 million young people play organized tackle football. And this study looked at 25 young people. They were 8 years old on the low end, 13 on the high. And Allie, they didn't have concussion symptoms, but they did have an impact on their brains.
Well, yeah, and when you think about this study and you just think about these kids playing a contact sport, it's not necessarily that they get one blow to the head. It's that maybe you're just, these minor blows and they don't know how much of an effect they can have later on down the road. And so you think of a compounding effect with a lot of these kids. Well, maybe it's not a big blow, but it's the minor ones, and then down the road, you could see the effects later on.
The real concern here, Mike, is that this affected the white matter in the brain. It's a part of the brain that is still developing and evolving in those young years. And you think, geez, I mean, what do you do? Do you pull your kids out of football?
Well, the question remains, too, since this study is so small and so short, whether or not these kind of micro injuries will end up fixing themselves over time, or if they do build up in like a cumulative effect. But I know plenty of parents like yourself are already making that decision before we even have more evidence.
You worry about it. You worry about it. I mean, obviously, any sport comes with a risk. Also, walking down the street comes with a risk, right? We all hit our head on doors and walls and whatever. And so to a certain degree, this, Allie, competitive sports has been put under the microscope, which overall I think is good. But people do need to remember that being fit and being out there playing a sport is far better than sitting on your couch being worried about brain injuries, right?
Well, exactly. And the doctor even said that I'm not telling you don't play football. He said it's fine. He just wants people to be aware of some of these statistics. And I do think when you think about some of these long-term effects of these injuries is we don't really know a lot about it. And I feel like now doctors are paying more attention. People, parents, athletes are more aware of what's actually going on. So I want to know what it's going to be like in 20 years.
That's good, but you still have like a whole generation now of kids that are growing up that we probably won't have the full story by the time they're adults. So what do you pull your kids out if you're a parent? I mean, it's, as you mentioned, it's not just football. You even think of something like diving where they're hitting the water at a pretty high speed. Does that cause some sort of brain impact? Who
Cheerleading
knows?
has injuries to the brain. I mean, all of these things.
Soccer.
It just makes you at least want to see what kind of interventions and how early can we intervene on the medical side of these real impacts that are happening.
Makes me glad I'm not a parent.
Yeah.
Those are hard decisions.
My brother had to retire from playing hockey because of concussions, and he still has residual effects.
Yeah.